This is an industry that is incredibly hard to differentiate yourself. We want to send the message out there that we are different than other agents. Hey, I'm Brad McCallum out of Calgary, Alberta.
And I'm Bob Tompkins out of Anderson, South Carolina. And this is the Bob and Brad Show. And today we're talking about listing videos.
Hey, welcome back to the Bob and Brad Show. Guys, we're so glad you're joining us for our 9th episode. And today we're going to be talking about listing videos and why they're so important for your business, why you need to start doing them now. And if you haven't yet had a chance and you're finding it hard to sit down and consume a whole episode right on Facebook, don't worry. You can always go check out our backlog of episodes on YouTube, or you can get our latest episodes right into your earbuds or your AirPods on your favorite podcast player, whether it's Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, all of them. We're there, so check them out. So, all right, Bob, let's get started. Let's talk about this idea of listing videos. One of the reasons why I think it's kind of on the mind of a lot of people who may have not been doing them in the past, or who haven't maybe seen the same value that we've seen by including sort of our personality and our brand in them, is that Zillow has made a change. And that change has allowed for people now to do some personal branding for about 15 seconds at the beginning or the end of the video. So we'll talk a little bit about why that's so important to include in all of the video content you put on your listings, as well as how you can get started shooting your own listing videos, when you should hire someone else, and what are the basic ingredients of a great listing video. So what do you think, Bob? What do you think about this whole Zillow news?
So the Zillow news is huge. First off, I'm excited to talk about this topic with you because people who don't know, listing videos is basically how Brad has made his name in real estate. So he was BombBomb's number 3 listing video agent in North America. So if there's an expert on this topic, it's definitely this guy. So I'm just going to try and chime in when I can to kind of add to this conversation. But Zillow, this is huge because, for you being in Canada, Brad, Zillow's not as prominent, but here in the States, Zillow basically runs the real estate world. And I know as agents, we don't like saying that, but it's where every home buyer and every home seller is. So Zillow has not allowed for branded content in their videos on Zillow's platform at all. You had to do them from your phone. They had to be like a walkthrough of the house. You press record and you walk through. That's not the case anymore. They're allowing you to upload pre-recorded videos, and you're allowed to have branding in either the first or the last 15 seconds of the video. And we've talked a little bit about this off camera. It's very important that people understand you always want to use that first 15 seconds.
The first 15 seconds.
Yeah, not the last 15 seconds, because the thing is, people watching your videos, if it's a great video, still only 20%, 30% of people are going to watch the whole thing.
That's right.
So when they get to the end, you've lost the ability to give that impression to people about who you are. Versus if you put it in the first 15 seconds, almost everybody that clicks play is going to watch the full first 10, 15 seconds. They're going to see you. They're going to get your brand. They're going to get your message before they see the house. So that's extremely important. But it's a huge shift, man, because, we've been pushing out YouTube ads, Facebook ads, being on Instagram, trying to get in front of people who are actively buying and selling houses. And now Zillow's given us that opportunity to put our face right in front of people where they're looking. So it's a huge opportunity.
So what I would say to anyone in America that's had that same sort of challenge of like, how do I actually brand where the people actually are? I would tell you in Canada, we're allowed to include branded content on each of our listings. So that means right on realtor.ca, on those syndicated websites that go out on all those different property websites, they are prominently featuring the video first off, which includes the thumbnail. So lots of times the first picture that they see on one of our listings is a picture of my wife and I standing in the kitchen or in front of the house as the thumbnail of that YouTube video. And then it goes on to have the other 50 pictures. So I think I'm a great test case for why you should be using branded videos, because I have had incredible amounts of success and business that I've gained because I've been allowed to use that branded content. So now in the States, you've got 15 seconds. Of course, I'm allowed to have branded content, for 3 or 4 minutes, but I would argue it doesn't even matter. Those 15 seconds is so long in internet speak. It's so long. There's such a chance for you to introduce the home, to tell them a little bit about yourself, and to direct traffic away to where they can find more out about you, your services, watch other videos, consume more of your content. So there's a real branding opportunity for you to get your name out there and to also help you sell your house.
Absolutely. And there's a second level to this too. A lot of people, when they see like, oh, the opportunity to put these videos, they're like, oh, okay, well, I'll throw my phone up, video myself, and then go through the house. And while sure that gets your face out there and it gets you branded, it doesn't really separate you from what any other agent is going to be doing. So the fact that Zillow, it's not just that they're allowing you to put yourself in the video, they're allowing for it to be pre-recorded and uploaded. So that's an important distinction there. It's not just you have to film it straight from your phone onto the platform. You can pre-record, which means you can use better equipment. You can put yourself in, you can separate yourself in a very real way from your competition here.
So I would argue that everyone should have already seen this coming. Like, this was a change that Zillow had to make. And the simple reason why is that Zillow, like Google, like Facebook, like YouTube, is 100% concerned solely with the user experience. Are they enjoying it? Are they having a good time? How long are they staying on the website? So that's what happens when people use video in their business. They stay longer, they stay on a listing longer. But what they've realized is that it's not just those shaky, simple, basic videos, the Zillow videos that everyone was doing. This opportunity for people to upload allows for people to only raise the quality. It's unlikely the quality would go down. So because the quality is going to go up, it's going to be a better experience for the user. That means it's an answer to Zillow's challenges of like, how do we control the market? So you're going to be able to help your own brand by increasing the quality of the video that you put on there. And it's also going to start to show a differentiation between you and the services that you provide. For myself, the videos that we create, one of the big reasons why we go to such a great length to add the quality in is because we want to send the message out there that we are different than other agents. And this is an industry that is incredibly hard to differentiate yourself. And I know agents who've been in this industry for decades and who are struggling to figure out why their personal brand isn't as strong as they maybe thought it once was, because everything has changed so much in our digital worlds. It's the idea of a personal brand, the idea of just even our brokerage being the only sole driver of our business, the idea of just Facebook leads being the only way we can target, all those things have changed. And now because of those changes, we have this opportunity to actually attract people to us. And that's what listing videos do. And I find, and I've made this argument before, I think they do it in such a way that our message to our clients is, take a look at how much work we're doing, how invested we are in selling your home. And as a byproduct of that, you're going to get in so many conversations where people are like, oh man, you know what? It's just so refreshing. You're not like those other agents. And that's huge.
Yep. And I want to make one more note about how Zillow has done what they've done, because it's really a brilliant thing that they've done in allowing us to brand. Because when they made the change from just recording on the phone to uploading, people would have seen that and been like, okay, well, that's great, but what incentive is there for me to go and buy equipment, hire videographers, whatever, to get this higher level of content? Zillow's allowing you to brand and put yourself in the video, which is actually a huge shift for them, because Zillow has focused so much on trying to generate clientele with real estate agents, to where real estate agents pay Zillow for leads, pay for a opportunity to get leads and exposure on Zillow. Well, now you're not having to pay for that. This is something that you're able to put yourself out there, because Zillow wants people to stay on the platform. They want high quality content, and they know the way to incentivize agents to do that is to let you put your face on the platform. So I know it's like feeding the beast, because a lot of American agents are going to say that, like, oh, you're just helping feed the beast. But I mean, the people that do this and that take advantage of this opportunity, it's going to help Zillow, but it's also going to help their businesses a ton. And in my opinion, as much as I want to, look out for other realtors, I'm concerned about my family first, and most people should be too. So I think it's an opportunity you shouldn't pass up.
Yeah, and I know that idea of like, look, if you can't beat them, join them. It sounds like we're giving it up or throwing in the flag. But here's the thing: they already have the power. Like, they are already real estate. They are real estate in the United States. So if they are real estate, that means that we don't know what decisions they will make in the future. But I can guarantee you this: they will favor the agents that they think are going to produce the most and that are going to attract the most people to their site to give them a great experience. And so this is like sort of future proofing whatever changes might be coming down the pipeline, because once again, you're building that personal brand. And one thing that's bigger than Zillow, that's bigger than any brokerage out there, even bigger than the balloon, is you. If people believe in you, then that above all else will trump all of that. This is a platform for you. Zillow is providing it now for you to brand yourself. But of course, beyond Zillow, we've got YouTube, we've got Facebook, we've got Instagram, we've got many great platforms. And I can tell you, at now someone who's been doing it for just about 2 years of listing videos, the amount of leads that are coming in through YouTube, the amount of leads that are coming in through Instagram. These are not 6 month out, 9 month out buyers. Hey, we're thinking of moving to Calgary. These are luxury home builders with $3 and $4 million listings saying, hey, Brad, we need something fresh. We want something different for our brand. Will you come out and be involved in this next project of ours? That was my conversation this last week. Yesterday, I drove out to the mountains, a town that I've never sold a home in, close to some of the most beautiful places on earth, the opportunity for like great visuals and an awesome listing video, something I'm super excited about, has only been presented to me because that person was referred to me by someone else on their Instagram. So their hairdresser on Instagram referred them to me. They reached out to me, and I spent the day at a $1.75 million listing, walking around this gorgeous home, just like so excited at the opportunity to bring my brand out to Canmore, Alberta. It's exciting, but that's what you can do if you start to differentiate yourself through video, through listing videos. So Bob, let's talk a little bit about whether or not you should buy the equipment yourself or whether or not you should go with a videographer. Now, I'd say there's pluses and minuses of both. If you're an established agent right now who's doing a lot of business, maybe you're doing 20 plus deals a year, it probably does not make as much sense for you to develop all the skill set that goes into creating and editing videos. Your time is probably already really precious, probably already at a spot where you can hire this out, or even maybe hire someone in-house, which is not a bad idea, put someone on retainer. That might be a better path for you. But if you're someone who's doing a little bit less than that, you might love the ability to start creating your own videos and your own content that all of a sudden your market update, your community update, your restaurant you're featuring, your listing videos, they all start to develop their own style, the same high quality look. There's a real benefit to learning this skill yourself. And in fact, I know so many agents now, Bob, that even are high producing agents that just see the value in being able to sit down at the end of the day and crank out a good quality, good looking 3-4 minute video that they can go send out, that they don't want to go through all the steps of calling up a videographer, putting it into their schedule, then doing feedback back and forth and revisions until it gets the look and feel that they want. I know so many agents in my city that are big producers that are shifting towards learning some basic editing skills.
Right. And I think it's very important. I'll preface this because I use a videographer for every one of my listing videos. I do think it's very important as an agent to be able to learn this skill at least at a novice to amateur level, because you never know, your videographer might blow up, get really good, and price you out. He may or he may never develop the way you want him to. So there's things that if you can do it yourself, it's extremely beneficial because it gives you the flexibility in your business where you're not tied to one person. So like that's very important. So I mean, I've bought a lot of the equipment. I've got plans to buy more equipment. Brad knows I just bought like a $1,400 lens to make sure I can take good wide angle shots of stuff. And that's stuff that I'm investing in because I want to be able to make this content as well. But at the same time, I'm one of those agents. When I got into video, I was already closing 30 deals a year. So I was like, I don't really have time. I can learn this over a couple years span, but I can't learn it quickly. I can't dive in 4 to 6 months and just soak it all up and learn it all because I don't have the time. I'm running around doing business, closing deals, and I just don't have the time. So for me, it was a little different, and that's why I'm like, I'm going to take this long-term approach to learning, and I'm going to hire a videographer that does a great job. So that's where I've been at. For someone like Brad, I mean, you had a creative video background before you even got into the real estate side of things, correct?
Yeah, well, I mean, I dabbled a little bit in it. I never did it commercially. I had a renovation and design business for the last 15 years. So my wife was a professional photographer. We had a good camera, had a few good lenses. I didn't even know it recorded video. And then one day when my son was born, he was maybe 6 or 7 months old, we hit record and we realized like, oh, wow, this is really cool. And just immediately I saw, okay, I could go from this shot to help tell a story, put some music in with it. And now I've got this, super emotional piece about my little 8-month-old boy learning to crawl that my wife and I still look back on and have these amazing memories about, right? So I have a little bit of a background in it, but the vast majority of what I learned, I just learned on YouTube. And I did a scaled approach now. Like it's easy to look at, say, something that I'm putting out now and think, oh, wow, like I couldn't get there. Well, I mean, neither could I. I didn't get there in the first year. I took my approach. There was probably a quarter of the cuts. I would argue a lot of the progress I made is kind of, it's diminishing gains. What I've done really well is I've captured really good visuals. I've gotten in front of the camera to associate myself with the quality of those visuals and the quality of those listings. I've put in a lot of work to be me times 2 on camera and say, get people excited and tell them about who I am. I've done a lot of work on that, but I mean, I've got a long ways to go. But even what I've done, it's just been enough to separate myself. And that separation has been enough to get people's attention and get people to call me. And that's the difference.
And the thing is people, when you think about, oh, the first listing video I put out, it's just not that good. I feel like I can improve in so many ways. That first video is already so much better marketing than what most agents are doing in the first place. And the thing is, for me, like I've only been doing listing videos for just north of a year. And I can say this pretty confidently, and I don't mean any offense to other agents in the upstate of South Carolina, but nobody's making listing videos as good as I am where I live. Brad, is, you've learned video over, the course of your son's life and, creating these, these videos for people to watch. And you've been doing listing videos for right at 2 years. 2 years doing listing videos yourself, and you're number 3 in North America. When people look at it and they're like, my stuff's not that good, the timeline to being better than everyone else is not a very long timeline. This isn't like basketball where you needed to start playing when you were 6 and practice every day until you're 25 just to be really, really good. You can be one of the best in the world at this just by putting in, a couple years of work into this.
Well, there's an agent in my market that 7 years ago, he started doing listing videos, and he's got almost 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. He was there. He was sitting on a gold mine. He grew his business because of it. People loved seeing that differentiation of it. And he's really pulled back. Like in recent years, he's really pulled back on the videos that he's created because he had so much success from them. It grew his brand so much that he got involved in all these great listings, pulled back, decided not to really do them that much. That agent has reached out to me continually and said, listen, Brad, I love what you're doing. I love how you're putting yourself out there. I really wish I wouldn't have taken my foot off the gas. Now, he's an established agent. He's got a real established business. I mean, how much does he want in a year, right? Like how much busy, like money, all that stuff. So he's probably kind of found this equilibrium of like, this is how much he's willing to put in to get out. But being a brand new agent, I'm able to compete with him, a luxury agent, and take listings from him. And I'm able to do that solely because I just kept doing the work. And he could get back there too. But what's interesting is when I watch the analytics, I've got about I hit 1,400 subscribers on YouTube this morning. Big moment for me. He's got almost 5,000 subscribers. Every day I get 8 times the views that he gets. And that's just simply because I've been continuously putting out content every week, new listing video, new listing video, new listing video. And if you do the math on that, you start to think about that, guys, like a year ago, I had 3 listings. And I'm putting out a listing video, if not 2, in a week. So how many is that in a year? 50, 60 listings. You start working with buyers, like numbers that I never thought were possible ever in my life. I thought my goal is to get to 25, 30 deals. And now all of a sudden it's like in COVID, in some of these terrible, situations, economic situation, we're on a path to do 50 deals. And that's a huge thing. And the only thing we offer, I don't even have a business card. I don't have a proper website for my business. I don't have a CRM, but I do have people calling me to list their homes. That's it.
Well, and the thing is, I mean, when it comes to listing videos, especially with the quality, you're about a year and a half ahead of me on the stuff I've been doing. A year and a half ago, my clientele was almost all buyers. I'd be lucky to have 1 or 2 listings at one time. And now just, about a year later, I've got, 7 right now, and I've got another one coming in a couple weeks. So then you're looking at this, my listing portfolio has quadrupled in a year. And the only difference, 2 years ago, I was doing 30 deals a year. The only difference though, is that now that my clientele is becoming sellers, not buyers. So where I'm not having to like prospect and chase down leads and try and convert buyers.
That's putting gas on the fire too. When you're working predominantly with sellers, that's the template of every book out there, like the $1 Million Agent. It's all about, you want listings, you want signs, you want authority that people, that the authority that's seeing those signs all over town gets you. The amount of agents that will show one of my listings and then say, yeah, I know you got a bunch more in that area. So I sent them your videos on that too. Like the amount of agents that are calling me and telling me that, it's ridiculous to me. Because a year ago, I was like, man, I see this guy's name everywhere. It's all over the place. Like I assumed that came from a different thing. But most people's markets are relatively small, especially like the higher up you go, the property ladder, you get into very small markets where things work on, preferred friendships with, those are the guys who build those luxury homes. And those are the agents that sell those luxury homes. And these are the business owners and sort of the masters of that little community's universe. And in our city, a city of 1 million plus people, it's very small at the top. And the boundaries have already been sort of defined, who gets what and who's going to work with who and all of that. And my conversation with this luxury builder, who I should not be getting into that conversation, even though he's sliding into my DMs, asking me to meet up, asking me to basically, hey, bring us the art that you do for our brand. The reason why is because he's looking at how he gets so much of the business because of the sphere he has. And some of the other big luxury builders, they get their sphere of business. He wants to break past that sphere. He wants to put gas on his fire. So he's like, listen, the only way I can do that and get our name spoken about in the circles where these other builders' names are is to have brand, a more powerful brand than them. They're looking at us as being the way to get that brand in front of those people. That's the power of really embracing this idea of building your own brand, putting out a quality product, because people are watching that you have no clue. There are buyers and sellers right now watching your video content that have not yet reached out to you and might not for another month or two, that have already decided you're their guy. That's the difference of being in front of people continually with your content, and then raising the bar on that content too. Because you're not just attracting more like sellers. Like, I'm a middle income guy and a middle income family. You know, like, we're average, right? But we're getting the attention of business that is not on the averages. So it's cool.
Right. And one other thing to think about this, and this is one of my core beliefs when it comes to video as well. I mean, just video in general. But with listing videos, when you're putting out the stuff that you are, and I'm putting out the stuff that I am, realtors notice very quickly. And we've mentioned this before in other episodes, that realtors notice what other realtors are doing. Well, what it's done for me, and I'm sure it's done the same thing for you, is other realtors know where I am. They know I'm in Greenville. They know that, I do these videos. And then when they have a client that's there in my city or in your city and they need to sell their house, they're like, oh, I got to hook you up with this agent because he does the best videos. She does the best videos. I don't see anybody else doing listing videos like this over there. So I got to hook you up with that. The referral business goes through the roof. Like, I have four clients right now that are referrals from other agents. Yeah. Because they knew who I was. So that's the thing, is with these listing videos, agents see it and they know nobody else is doing it at the level that you are, the level that I am. And I'm half the level you are.
No, so, man, you're doing some beautiful stuff.
Well, from a listing, humble Brad over here. But that's the truth.
Your point about referrals is huge, right? It's sort of that same idea that we were that I was just talking about, how try to break into other spheres. I know, for example, I'll get leads and referrals from not just other Remax agents in other cities. I'll get them from many of the different brokerages out there, just because I know that they've seen my stuff and they like it and they're reaching out. And you know what happens is otherwise is you're just going to get a referral from a Remax agent, or if you're a Coldwell Banker, well, they're going to go and try and just do that. But ultimately, I know what it's like. If I give a referral, I give that referral to whoever I think is going to provide the highest level of service to that client, because that reflects on me. And so the more that your stature in the real estate world raises on the idea of what people think of the value that you bring your clients, the more you're just going to attract the leads, because ultimately that's the thing that really, really matters anyways. Is you just want, at the end of the day, someone to send you that email back and say, hey, oh man, thank you so much. We had an awesome experience with that person. Listen, anyone who's selling back home, will definitely give them your number. That's right. The way that works.
Exactly. And kind of piggybacking off of that, when it comes to these listing videos, there's a lot of questions that people have, like, what type of shots should I shoot with? What type of camera do you use? What type of lens? All of that. And it'd be kind of technical and a little difficult for us to get into it in the episode, but we're always available the same way we are to take, referrals. We're available. You can slide in our inboxes and, ask us questions like, hey, how do you do this? What do you do for this type of shot? And we're here as a resource for you guys. I mean, obviously we're putting the show together for you, but if you need anything, you just let us know. We're always here, happy to help improve the game of our fellow realtors.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what, you guys, you don't need to drop $10,000 or $15,000 to start doing listing videos. You don't need to work with complicated software. You don't need to know that software in and out. You can work with an iPhone with a wide angle lens and a telephoto and a cheap gimbal. You can be set up with the phone in your pocket and a little gimbal and start playing around with that. And like Bob's doing, he's doing this phased investment approach where he's adding a scale once a month. That's how you, that's the whole, that's how you eat an elephant, is one bite at a time. that's what this does. And every time you add that little bit of extra skill to each video, just include one more thing, you're going to watch yourself progress over time. We've seen this with so many other agents who are creating content that blows me away in such a short period of time. And then I think back, I'm like, yeah, that's what happened to me. I just committed to that extra bit of learning. So don't get sort of turned off by the idea that this is going to cost a whole bunch of money and a whole bunch of time. It's definitely going to take effort. It's definitely going to take some hustle. It's going to take some extra hours, but it's so going to be worth it. It's, in fact, at this point in time, I don't even know or understand how else I would ever brand myself. It's almost impossible to imagine.
I almost call myself a video agent. Like it has become like the heart and soul of my business is this camera, so it's, I don't know how I would do it anymore. Like, I don't know how I did it 2 years ago, because this is exactly the only way I know how to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. It's what Sharon said. So if you haven't watched Sharon Srivats's episode from about 3 weeks back, you need to go back and check it out. This is what he talked a lot about. That's right.
Episode 5.
He talked about how before people would spend tens of thousands of dollars to get distribution. The distribution is available right now. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and now Zillow. So the distribution is there. It literally just takes a little bit of sweat equity. So get after it. Go start branding yourself. Get in front of the camera. Hit record. Talk to your audience. Share those listing videos and watch your business really grow in 2020 in a way you probably couldn't predict if you're not doing video yet.
Yep, exactly. What Brad said.
All right, Bob. Thanks a lot, man, for another great episode. Always enjoyed talking with you. We've got another one coming up next week. And make sure, go check us out. Download the podcast. Listen. Give us some feedback. What would you guys like to see on this, on our show? What guests would you like us to talk to? What questions would you like us to answer? Let us know in the comments, or even just send us a DM. We really want to try and create this show into something that brings as much value as possible. And for us, we're not professional podcasters. We're just out here doing our thing and having a conversation about the topics that we're most passionate about. So we'd love your feedback if you have some.
Absolutely. And next week, we got a special guest for you guys.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So keep tuned in for that. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching the Bob and Brad Show.